Have you ever seen a toy room so packed with toys that you can't move around? Well, how about one packed with superheroes and superhero-like characters from every era? And I'm talking the noteworthy pieces, plus the super rare and super collectible ones. You'll get all that, plus a few super surprises in Mysterion's Super Toy Room Super Collection Super Tour. It's super.
Hey, Mysterion here. Come on into my toy room. I got a lot to show you. I've always wanted one of these, and I found one on a fluke. This is the 1939 Ideal Superman doll, the very first Superman figure and the very first action figure. This doll was originally retailed for about $2, and it's tough to find these, especially in box. It was just a brown cardboard box with a little label on it, but he has his original cape, and it is one of my top 5 prized toys in my collection. I love the fact that he looks like he's wearing a diaper. One of the best toy finds I've ever had is this guy right here. This is Speedy, the Green Arrow's little buddy. This is a Teen Titans figure by Mego. Retails for probably about $400 in this condition, which is a really good condition figure. I got him for $3. The person didn't know what they had, and it's marked on the back, and yeah, it's okay, it's just a toy. But one of the best finds I've ever scored out in the wild is this guy. There's still stuff out there. You gotta just keep looking, you gotta know what you're looking for. Never had any of these as a kid, but I love the figure line, the Sectars. There's the little snake guy that goes into the hive. This is the biggest play set ever made for any toy line, ever. Like ever. There's no playset bigger than this. And it's called the Hive, and it's the layer that both the heroes and villains are both trying to capture, and maybe when they capture it, there's some sort of power they get. But what I really like about this toy line is the different puppets that are used to create real life. So for example, a child can put their hand into this tarantula, and it can grab a character and pull it into the hive, or some of these mounts that you can put your hand in and make them, you know, have life. There are these sort of insect warriors who battle on their planet for, you know, whatever insect warriors battle for. But a great toy line, unfortunately short-lived. Unfortunately, in the 80s, there weren't many Marvel toys. Once the Mego style toy went out the window, the Secret Wars line was the only thing that existed until 1990, and the only characters that were available are these few that are on this shelf. There was Wolverine, there was Spider-Man, there was Captain America, Doctor Doom, but not many others. Fortunately, I was able to get some of the rarest ones when I was over in Europe. I got Iceman, which is a very hard to find, sought after figure. He was in the third wave that was only released, I believe, in England, Ireland, and Italy, and other characters as well, like this Electro, who actually got a lot of playtime. I loved this figure. But not many more figures were actually made. There's only 16 in the entire run, and one of them being a repaint of Spider-Man. So there's only 15 characters that Marvel had released in the 80s until the later line came out. I believe it was, might have been Toy Biz, but don't quote me on that. Over here I have a whole bunch of different knockoff toys from the 80s, different knockoff Masters of the Universe characters. The popularity of the Masters of the Universe line was so much that, of course, everyone needed a slice of the pie. So companies came out of the woodwork and started making generic He-Man style figures, and this guy I call Martan because he actually looks like my friend Martin growing up, so he's my He-Man Martan. But they, you know, look enough like He-Man and kind of are He-Man, but they're not He-Man. There's a guy called Anubis who's a wolf, and this Tiger Man. But my favorite of all of them, and you'll notice that there's all sorts of different variations of him, is this guy right here. And this is my boy. This is Baltard. I love his name. I think it's absurd. And we started an Instagram page for him, and it went mad viral. I've taken Baltard on tours of the world, and I've taken pictures of him in the Hollywood Hills and hanging out with celebrities. And like, it's just such a fun, weird figure. Actually, I have a tattoo of him as well. But these figures are called Galaxy Warriors. Some of them are called Galaxy Fighters. And then they've taken the molds and they've reused them for pro wrestling. They made a Baltard-esque wrestling figure, and he even got recycled as a turtle villain called Sato, which I don't have, for a knockoff Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line called Turley Gang. So these had a long life from about 1982. Sun Gold made them until about the early 90s. All and any type of toy line that they could knock off, they used these molds over and over again. I'll never forget the day I went into Toy City and they had this giant display of wrestling figures. They had Hulk Hogan, they had Andre the Giant, Big John Studd, Superfly Snuka, and all of these figures are from the LJN line. This was the famous toy line that really was popular in the 80s. This here, of course, is the first Andre the Giant figure that I remember getting. It's the second figure I got. The first one was Hulk, and of course I had to have Andre as well. But they produced a lot of these figures, and over the years, these have become incredibly hard to find in good condition because, of course, these toys got bashed around. They're wrestling figures. I mean, even the later ones, you can find them. They're even still, there's paint loss and there's wear. I didn't expect these to ever go up in value, but this one right here is half my rent. Just that figure, like that's crazy. But I'll never sell it because I love these so much. That's of course the Big Boss Man. The thing with this figure was he was only released in Canada, and he was released through Grand Toys. So the last line was only released in Canada, which you'll find in a lot of toy lines, that the Grail figures are exclusive to non-American countries. These are the, of course, the Superpowers collection, probably the best superhero figures of all time, and that one I would say is the best Batman rendition ever of all time. And you know, he can punch and go into the Batmobile. I have him manning the Tower of Doom playset, just kind of chilling out here. This was a toy line. This was for these guys. But these are all the different superhero figures from that line. And this line had the opportunity to make so many amazing figures, and then they went out of their way and made some pretty stupid choices, like characters that don't even exist, like the Golden Pharaoh. They had the opportunity to create Bizarro or Catwoman, and they made this guy. In hindsight, I think he's great. I think he's a fantastic looking toy, but he is not part of the DC universe of that time. My favorite of all time, of course, is Captain Marvel or Shazam, and this is probably the first figure I think I've ever had of him. I never had this one. That was a earlier one until I was an adult, but this is it. I love him so much. I have him tattooed on my back of my leg. I got a huge Captain Marvel tattoo. I've always loved the early 40s superheroes. Him, the Phantom, and characters like that always popped for me. And I'm glad that they had some representation in the 80s because I had the opportunity to have them and play with them. Thanks for joining me in my toy room. Glad you were able to make it. I love these 30 years of collecting, and I got to share it with you in just such a short time. You can't possibly see everything. So hopefully we cross paths again soon, and I will see you in my favorite place, the future. Wait a second, you better not have taken anything. Did you? Better not. I will find you if you took anything. I will get you.